Have you ever imagined a life without school? Most people have, but the curiosity always leads to one question: what actually happened in the end? Today, through this conversation with a person who was homeschooling in US 30 years ago and now works as a lawyer, we're going to see how his stories turned out. Hi, can you give a brief introduction of yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for about 8 years, and I was homeschooled.
So let's just start our interview. Nowadays, homeschoolers can easily find tons of learning materials, resources online, but 30 years ago when you started homeschooling in US, the internet wasn't as developed as it now. So how do you find learning materials and plan your learning path?
It was really difficult. I didn't do it. So that was my parents went out and found books. So I did have a math course that was on a CD, but mostly everything was just books, and I don't know exactly how they found them. You couldn't get public school books, so there were special books for homeschool students.
Like some homeschool organization over that?
And in the US, there's a lot of religious organizations that support homeschool.
I know you majored in philosophy in college, but later you choose to become a lawyer. Was it driven by interest or it's a practical career consideration?
It's always a little bit of both. In the US, I don't know how it is in other countries, but when you go to college, you kind of get 2 years to explore and then 2 years where you specialize. And at the end of my exploring, I hadn't really found anything I really liked, but I took one philosophy class that I liked, and I had to choose which to specialize in, so I chose that one. And as for law, if you study philosophy, there's not a lot of jobs, obvious fits for you. So a lot of people who study philosophy end up going to law school. So it's normal to explore that. And I actually found that I liked it a lot.
Looking back, are there any homeschooling program or organization provide a guide to choose your career path?
If you live in a bigger city, but where we lived, it was pretty small. So there weren't any big homeschool organizations that would be that specific, like law organizations that would accept homeschoolers. So there was a program called Teen Court for kids and so they could go to this sort of fake court, and so you could volunteer with that and sort of practice making arguments.
What kind of experience do you think it's had a big impact on you? Maybe like you have some unique learning method you want to share about, or something else?
Yeah, so there's a website, a course that I use as kind of my main system, and it kind of uses memory techniques to associate each radical that makes up a Chinese character with a person or an image or an object, and then you kind of combine them into a story or like a movie scene in your mind to help you remember the characters. And so that's kind of what I've been doing to build the vocabulary, and then I try to practice. So I speak a lot, and lately when I'm driving, I'll listen to Chinese dialogues to help me try to improve my listening, because that's what I'm struggling with right now.
Okay, just assume you have children in the future. Would you choose homeschool for them? And what do you think are those big advantages and those big disadvantages of homeschooling?
Yeah, it really depends, because a lot of things are different. Like the reason I started homeschooling was because we were in a school district that didn't have a lot of resources. And so everyone had to take the same classes, and they weren't a fit for everyone, and it wasn't a good fit for me. But if I had kids and they were in a school district where they had different classes for different ability levels and different interests, maybe that would be a good fit for them. But and by the same token, we like to travel a lot, and so some of the advantages of homeschooling is that it's very flexible, academically and in scheduling your activities and the different things you can be a part of. So the flip side of that is it's less structured, and it can be harder to if you don't already know how you want to structure the academics, and you don't know what you want your child to learn, that can be a disadvantage. But now that I've been through it, I think that would definitely be something we would consider, because you can really tailor the education for what the student needs, rather than having to fit into whatever the school is going to.
What was your parents' opinion at first when you started homeschooling?
Well, I think they saw that the school I was in was not working for me. Like I wasn't learning at the pace I should have been, and it was not fun to just kind of be there and not be learning. So they were very supportive of trying to set me up to kind of learn at my own pace and have a little more freedom to tailor things.
Do you have some experience or advice for those people who currently homeschool?
It can give you all these great advantages and give you an opportunity to focus in on something. Like you learned English really well and you're working on your Spanish because you can do it in a way that works for you rather than having to sit in class.
And a question for those people who want to be a lawyer in the future. What undergrad major is most closely connected to the legal career?
At least in the US, there's really no requirement. If you want to be rich as a lawyer, you should become an engineer because people who have engineering or technical backgrounds or like biomedical things, they can become very specialized type of lawyers that are paid very well and have really a good time trying to find jobs. But you could do anything. Philosophy majors tend to do well because the type of like papers you write and the things you study can sometimes help you on the exams you need to get into law school. But I wouldn't do it for that reason. Like the main thing is just doing something that you enjoy and that you can get good grades in. It also helps if you're applying to law school to show that you know what it means to be a lawyer, that you've maybe worked with lawyers or talked to lawyers, but you can just go out and do internships and get practical work experience that's often a lot.
In your opinion, what kind of area in the law is not easily replaced by AI?
I think AI is quite good at what I'm good at, or what I would say I was good at, is of the writing things out, like organizing things. I think that's kind of the first thing that AI can really do well. If you have a job that involves a lot of like client interaction, like just managing people's emotions and expectations and like delivering good news and bad news, like having that human skill, rather than arguing, you're trying to get people's views out and like try to come to an agreement. And that might be tricky for an AI to do, whereas someone with that skilled background and that human connection might be able to do that. Even if AI is better at that than us, I don't know. There's all sorts of issues if you just let the machine do it and nobody ever looks at it, right? So I still think you're going to need someone, ultimately a real person, to review something and approve it, rather than just letting AI do everything.
What kind of kid, or let's just say what kind of family, are suitable for homeschooling?
I think it's really great for families that want flexibility and want something that is really customized to their child and like their own family situation. But I do think it's important to have some resources in terms of educational resources that you can provide to help the kid learn, and like have a sense of like how you're going to do that, because different families might be able to provide that in different ways. My dad is an engineer, but he in theory he would be great to like help with math, but he's also the worst person in the world at explaining things. Having him, he could be a resource in terms of like connecting me to people in engineering or to finding resources around math, but he couldn't actually teach me the math because he's just not a good teacher. So it really depends on what you want to do. But I think it is important that you at least be able to think about what the resources are that you can give to help the student succeed.
Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Bye!